Second, size does matter. The Manosphere spreads the myth that a man's sexual success is directly linked to the size of his genitalia. Hey, you people who watch, many false ideas about sexual activities are spread in the Manosphere. Today, we will look into this. Not to worry, we're about to show them 12 completely silly facts that they are wrong about. Fizzard, dynamics of alpha and beta. People in the Manosphere often believe that relationships should be structured in a strict hierarchy, like how people in wolf packs are grouped into two groups, alpha and beta. But ties between people are much more subtle and complicated than simple animal hierarchies. Human complexity. Unlike dogs, people are not only motivated by who is in charge. Culture, upbringing, personal beliefs, and unique situations are just some of the things that affect how we act. The complex web of human connections is too easily oversimplified when we try to fit them into a narrow alpha-beta structure. Respect for each other. Healthy relationships are based on respect, kindness, and understanding for each other, not on control and submission. Partners should work to be fair and work together, recognizing each other's skills and helping each other grow. Rejecting toxic masculinity. The alpha-beta dichotomy keeps toxic masculinity alive, which praises violence, control, and keeping emotions in check. This can hurt not only the person, but also the connections between them, leading to power differences and preventing real connections. Relationships between people don't really fit into simple categories like alpha and beta. Let's instead accept that people are complicated, put mutual respect and understanding first, and reject the damaging ideas of control and submission that the Manosphere spreads. Second, size does matter. The Manosphere spreads the myth that a man's sexual success is directly linked to the size of his genitalia. This is not at all true, though. Being able to understand and connect with your partner is more important than the number of inches between you and your partner. Skill over size. Despite what most people think, it's not the size of the boat that matters, but how fast it's moving. It has been studied over and over again that mental connection, communication, and paying attention to your partner's needs are much more important for sexual pleasure than physical traits. Different people have different sexual tastes. Everyone has their own sexual tastes. Something that makes one person happy might not make another person happy. Instead of getting caught up in meaningless measures, it's important to focus on what makes both of you happy and satisfied. Promoting the idea that size matters can make people of all genders feel bad about their bodies and make them more likely to have body image problems. A better view of sexuality and self-esteem comes from accepting body positivity and enjoying diversity in all its forms. Finally, the Manosphere spreads the harmful idea that a person's size affects their sexual ability. This false belief needs to be busted so that everyone knows that real sexual satisfaction comes from mental connection, discussion, and mutual respect, not from inches. 1. We have no control over when or how long our period lasts or starts. Most women get their periods about once a month, and they last for 3 to 7 days. Most of the time, we can tell when they will happen unless we are sick or worried. Girls usually start having them between the ages of 9 and 14 and stop when they reach menopause, which most women do in their late 40s or early 50s. Like when you have an open wound, you can't stop bleeding. It hurts. The only way to escape this every month is to use hormonal birth control, but a lot of us don't do it because it makes our health, weight, and mood worse. While I'm talking about this, just grow up and get your girlfriend some tampons. You're a child if it makes you sick. 2. A girl is not necessarily ready to have a baby just because she starts getting periods. It's been shown that girls who give birth before they turn 14 have more health problems or injuries, such as prolapses, infertility for life, genital injuries, and so on. Women in poor countries usually die while giving birth, so they have to have cesarean sections most of the time. Still, their bodies are too small to fit an adult hip or carry a child that weighs 6 to 10 pounds. Why did most nobles wait a few years after getting married in the Middle Ages before getting married again? 2. Women can have kids while they are in the middle of their cycle, but you can still get her pregnant after that week, so don't risk it. Not every time you ovulate is the same. Androgens can be changed by what you eat, how stressed you are, the weather, how much sleep you get, and even your mood. The best natural apps don't work, even the ones with the best reviews. If you're not ready to think about having an abortion, having kids, or Plan B, you shouldn't put anything at risk by having sex without any protection. 3. You can get a woman pregnant even if you don't ejaculate or think you didn't until you're not with her. The making of sperm doesn't always happen at the same time as the last orgasm. It could bring it down a lot, but that's never a sure thing, and this way leads to a lot of unintended pregnancies. If birth control always worked, we wouldn't need it at all. Put another rubber on it. At all costs, you should avoid getting an STI. 4. You are the only one whose sperm makes it to the egg and turns it into a zygote. That's the only way it could work besides IVF, which you would remember getting and paying for. It will have half of your genome and half of her genome. It will not have any DNA from her ex-partner. Any sperm in her body would have died a long time before you made fun of her. What if there were 3 of them, though? It will still have your genes or his genes in it. Every time, no question about it. There aren't any kids around who got 23 extra genes from the milkman. 5. No, a woman who cheats on her boyfriend does not take on the DNA or permanently chemical bond with him. You read that when a woman sleeps with a man, her body stores alien DNA from sperm and makes an oxytocin bond with him. Things like this don't happen. There is no study to back up the idea that having sex makes male DNA. Worry if you have a lot of DNA from someone else and aren't pregnant, a cousin recently gave birth, or have had a bone marrow transplant. It will probably try to kill it because it thinks it is alien or dangerous, which will make you very sick. DNA can be found on every surface too. Think about a head louse that pooped on your head. It would leave DNA behind. There are a lot of germs and bacteria from other places in your healthy gut, as well as some strange DNA. The DNA from this girl's ex-boyfriend won't hurt you though. It's not likely to happen. You're not acting right. 6. You are the only one who needs to finish for a woman to get pregnant. A woman who has been raped does not enjoy getting pregnant. We girls orgasm because it's fun, not because it helps us have babies. Without it, I believe most of us would avoid guys in the bedroom. 7. Lesbians do want to have children and can. Check out the top. 8. Men have developed to love anyone who sleeps with them, but women haven't. Man has changed so much that he no longer feels anything. Please think about this for a while because I think it's stupid. Does the first girl you went to college with still love you? Do you believe she wants you to return to her? Probably not. You can't date her because you're both teens and she's probably married or engaged by now. Not because she's a thought or a hoe. A man also wouldn't kill himself, have a mental breakdown, or kill herself over a woman who didn't want to date him anymore if he didn't feel emotionally linked to her. Would guys rather have a casual date than a woman? They don't have to think as much about getting pregnant or being raped. However, sex is sex. Both men and women enjoy it, and it can be painful and intense for both. 9. Women don't like getting raped. Being raped is very scary and upsetting. A woman who wants to be obedient and wanted in bed because she's been taught it's gross and embarrassing to want sex is not the same as a woman who wants you to hit her when she doesn't want to have sex with you. I could write a whole paper about this subject. Makes no sense at all. 10. The vagina doesn't change shape again after having sex, even though her ex was very famous. After about 30 minutes, the size will return to how it was. It's not on your mind unless she broke up with her phallic god 15 minutes ago. She might act differently if she's used to a different man in bed. That seems like a good thing, though. Don't you want your friendship and time with your partner to be unique? Check with a doctor if it's making you feel bad. You're making a big deal out of nothing, though. I've never met a woman who broke up with her boyfriend because of his penis. With personality, for sure.